So I got a 2005 Mercury Mariner, which is the same thing as the Ford Escape. This is the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder, and I am changing the starter, which is remarkably difficult. It's a brand new starter, and so it kind of gives you an idea. It basically only has 2 big bolts holding it on, and then you got to deal with the wires. What I did, I've seen people pull the whole front of the car off on YouTube, and I was like, man, that seems like a lot of work. What I've done is taken the battery and the battery tray out, as well as I took off the oil filter housing. And you can see the starter pretty easily right here. And that guy right there is 1 bolt, and unfortunately the other guy's at the top. That's why I took out the battery. So I think this hadn't taken too terribly long, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So this guy's a bit of a mess, and it does seem like there's a gasket behind it, which I don't have, so I'll have to run to the parts store. But if you yank that off, obviously you're doing an oil change at the same time. Battery tray. Sorry, doing a flyby here. So we're diving in, and that's the starter right there, and that top right there is my other nut. So I think this is the way to go. I'm just pulling hoses out of the way. I did take the air breather hose out of the way, but this isn't. Oh yeah, this. I'm not sure I even needed to take that off. There's a box right here covering that up. This won't be too hard now, so off to the races. Okay, a couple points. Painful lesson learned. The top stud, both of these are studs that hold in the, got it out. Took a little longer than I wanted. The way this guy works, it's sitting up against the engine, and it has 2 studs. Uno, dos. This guy tricked me. There's a ground wire underneath there, and this nut, you can see it's like half height, so it rounds over really easy. So you need to use a 6-sided socket, and don't use like a multi, that way it won't slip. You can see mine, the thread stripped, but I had taken this out, and I'm like, why isn't it coming out? The stud was still in there. I have to take this out. So that's actually 14 millimeter. These are 13. And tech tip number 2, drop this out before you pull the wires off, because the wires are really hard to get to. They've got a plastic cover over them that make it very difficult. And once you unbolt it, it just swings down. And I mean, granted, you're upside down, but you can get right to those. It's a 10 and 13 mil. That's it. If I did it over again, it should take like an hour and a half, but it's taken 2.5 or 3. But still, not bad for an amateur. There's the guys that just very simply they're firm, you know. They're structured to only go on that starter one way. So, can you imagine way up in there trying to unscrew it versus right here trying to unscrew it. So, yeah. Now, putting it all back in.